can I ask who's going to chair? Are you going to chair, Teresa? Or
No, I wasn't planning on it. I mean,
Okay.
I will act as chair with everybody's help. I don't
okay.
I don't follow the regs and rules that you do, but just let me know what needs to be done.
Well,
I
I
was
guess the first
hopeful-
thing that needs to be done is I'll share the screen with the agenda. And then we can go from there.
Start with that. Oh, cool,
Yes.
good.
I'll share
Okay.
the first part, Laura. We have to let everybody know that this meeting is being held virtually because of a state law, AB 361. And that ordinance says that because of COVID, we are required to have our meetings conducted in a virtual forum. And that's why we're having this meeting on Zoom.
Okay, that's number one, and we're complete with that. Everyone
Yes, we are.
understands it. We'll move on to number two, which is welcome. Everyone who's come, I was hoping more would, but we'll see. Maybe they will show up. And we'd like to call the meeting to order, and it's at 6:30, according to me. And what we'd like to do, or 6:35, we would like to give introductions of the people that are here in the meeting. We can go around. For those who don't know me, and that's nobody, I'm Donna Jones from West Adams Avenues and acting as chairing this meeting for today. We're trying to find someone who will become chair, but at this point, I will today chair the meeting for UNNC's Recreation and Parks Committee. First thing we need to do is introduce everybody from me. Who's next?
I'm Jackie Nunn from Kenny Heights at 24th and Cimarron.
I'm Teresa Masonette. I'm with the UNNC.
I'm Laura Myers, and yes, I'm with UNNC as well.
And I'm Elaine Pye. I'm the rec supervisor, and I'm sitting in. Shinnery was intending to attend this. However, she's had a loss in her family, so she's unable to attend today.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think there was one other person here. I can't see anymore, though.
I think it's you, Beverly. Are you here?
I'm here. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Beverly Rowe, West Adams Community.
Okay,
Yeah.
welcome, everybody.
Well, and
we have any-
Sandra just entered the room.
Okay, please introduce yourself. If she can hear me yet.
We just completed introduction. Sandra, you're the last person. Can you introduce yourself?
Sandra Pruitt from Jefferson Park.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so that completes introductions. We'd like an approval of the agenda, which is being seen on your screen.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Anybody would like to second that?
I second it if I can.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
go on from there.
If we could
Okay.
just get a raise of hands of everybody who approves the agenda.
So
And thank you very much, everyone. And just as a reminder, all our meetings, all of the attendees have a right to vote and make motions. So if you are participating in this meeting, you can also vote. Thank you.
Okay. We'd like to move on to public comments. You get 1 to 2 minutes. Anybody have a public comment, please raise your hand. Jacqueline, take your hand down if you don't have a comment.
I don't, but I don't know how to take my hand down. I'm in reaction, so what do I do?
Where you went to raise it, it'll
Uh-huh.
tell you, it gives you the option to lower it.
Well, every time I hit, I get another hand.
Now you're clapping.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, any public comments? Raise your hand if you have one. I do. I'd like to I'll raise my hand for the heck of it. We got a piece of art, as everyone who's been around and actually heard about it, was Caliban's hands for Black History Month in Benny Potter Park. And there was another piece of art placed in the Lamert Park Plaza as well. And beautiful piece. I actually didn't bring a picture, but we got a thank you from the people who were involved in placement. I don't know when it will be removed. It was graffitied while it was in the park, but one of our neighbors took the time, a whole afternoon, and cleaned the piece completely. And we got a thank you from the person who was involved in the placement. If you'll wait 1 second, I'll tell you her name. Her name is Mecca Brooks. And she said, thanks for getting, she wanted to thank David Murray, who cleaned the piece. I cannot thank you enough for your demonstration of stewardship. We at Monumental Tour, which is the name of the company, are extremely grateful for your kindness and expression of community ownership and respect. Thank you so very much for taking care of the artwork. You're always welcome to email us directly should anything else arise. Mecca Brooks. So that came from part of the group that placed the piece. So we're hopeful we'll get more art, and we're hopeful we get classes so that kids can participate in art. But it was a beautiful piece. I don't know how many of you actually got a chance to look at it. And I just wanted to mention that. Any other public comments? I'll ask again. Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to number 4. So
Okay.
security camera system at South Seas House and Isidore is the, there's an update. We're having another meeting on the 9th. We'll get more information about that at that point. Right now, we have an assurance that we will be able to, other people that were supposed to come and talk about it a little bit haven't shown up, but basically I don't want to go into it any more than that at this point. The cameras will be discussed at the next meeting we have with the RAP staff. Elaine, do you have anything to share?
No, we did have our, the head maintenance and construction person go out and look at it. We just want to make sure we're following the proper protocols and using city contractors for any work done on our facilities. So I know that will be discussed at the next meeting, but there shouldn't be any work happening without our sign off. So please make sure that that's included as we go through.
Well, we're gonna, as I said, meet on the 9th
Right.
with the group that we met with before. So we'll see where we get from that.
Okay.
Anywhere in Laura, you have a comment?
Well, yeah. And I know you guys are meeting in greater detail, but I would like to hear a little more explanation about don't do any work without our sign off, because I don't think anyone that sounded sort of, I'm sorry, because I don't know you, sounds a little blamey. And I don't think
No, it just
anyone,
sounds like we want to make sure that we're following city policy, and we have, contracts with the city, and to have somebody come onto our sites and do work, we just need to make sure that we're covered. For our own equipment, anything that they're attaching or connecting, for protecting our own, as well as anybody that may come on and get injured. So, I mean, we have some layers to make sure. So, we just need to not send somebody to do some work. We just got to make sure that everybody's on board.
sure. And in this particular instance, of course, the initial meetings were with recreation and parks. And so I'm just saying, let's collaborate and not,
Yeah.
I mean, this has been
I think there was one instance where somebody showed up and started pointing where they were going to put the cameras and things, and that our staff at the site was a little like, wait, who are these people? So it kind of caught us off guard because there was no communication about that. So we just want to make sure we are communicating and going about it.
Elaine, I want to jump in. There was communication. You weren't here,
No,
but
yeah,
there was
no,
total communication for a year with Sharon and actually the IT department. So I don't want to go into it, but there was quite a bit of communication. The
Right.
other cameras that are at Benny Potter and Annex were put through the UNNC Neighborhood Council City, a part of the city, and it was okay. Outside vendor was hired, and they did all of the work with the go ahead from Recreation and Parks.
right. See,
So I wanted to make sure you understood that,
Yeah.
like Laura said, it did sound a little blamey because we definitely followed protocols.
That's great. Good to hear.
Teresa?
Thank you, Donna. So during the last meeting we had, there was a small group of us that met with Recreation and Park leadership, and we talked about the installation of the security cameras, especially after the previous meeting where Shinnery and maybe Elaine, I can't remember if she was on it or not, had some questions about the UNNC installing the cameras. So we brought that up. We want to have the cameras in. They understand the importance of having the cameras in there. And now we're just trying to figure out if it can be part of a larger security camera system installed by Recreation, or if we're just going to do our own thing. So we're going to get more information from them in an upcoming meeting. I understand that if we do not use the vendor that Cordell and UNNC selected, that there are funds there that we have to get back to UNNC, but we're just waiting to see how that's going to play out with Recreation. We're allowing them to do their diligence and then come back and tell us how we're going to get the cameras. Because if they're not going to do it, we're going to, and I understand they want us to use their vendor. This person could be one of their vendors. We don't even know, but we're just going to allow them to get back to us and provide us with information.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're open to other vendors. We just need to make sure that they're covered insurance wise and those things. You know, it's just a safety precaution for us.
right.
For sure.
Well, I just wondered if the cameras are going to include the parks.
Yes.
Yeah, like I think Teresa just said, we're gonna, as much as possible, but we're having issues with the Wi-Fi and all of that. And then we're gonna have to figure out who's monitoring them. You know, there's a couple steps yet.
There's a whole lot of issues with the IT aspect, but I
yeah.
won't touch that.
Right.
Exactly.
Laura?
Yeah, so I just want to put a kind of bigger picture on this because I've been involved with the house and the park since the early 1990s. So, and I'm having a feeling of deja vu. And in fact, some of the earliest conversations were with someone who was probably sitting in your position, who's now the general manager of the departments. So for clarity, and this is also true for Leslie Shaw Park, this community collaborates with the department and with other city and sometimes state agencies to improve our parks, right? I mean, Sandra, we did a $1 million+ project at Leslie Shaw, and we weren't hearing all the time, probably some of the time, well, we won't do this and we won't do that. That's not our policy. But at South Seas House, over the years, because it's also a historic monument and there's so many other aspects to all of this, we've been knee deep, and the community did fundraising over the years. This is a new project, but it's not unusual in terms of the overall history of the collaboration. And also, just so you know, so everyone knows, back in, I want to say sort of 2003, 2004, the community and the Department of Recreation and Parks won a joint statewide preservation award from, I can't remember if it was a governor's award or California Preservation Foundation award, but a big presentation in San Diego that involved a couple of city departments, including Recreation and Parks and community members at a very gala event because of the collaboration. So this one project is just a continuation of that. And I think the idea is that the funding is there. I don't know that we care, at least I don't care if it's vendor number 1 or vendor number 2. I would care if vendor number 2 charged 3 times as much, just because they're on the city list. So, for me, we need to be fiscally responsible, but also I hope the department can continue to be open to these collaborations, because that is the way we have a good park and a good, in effect, recreation center that opens its doors to everyone. And that includes the Wi-Fi.
Thank you. We were given from the meeting we had, we were given with the information that they were going to cover it fully. I understood them to say that. So we will know more after the 9th meeting in the morning, 11 o'clock on the 9th. But that was a question Teresa asked, and it was answered in that way. So we believe they're going to cover every aspect, and it will be top of the line. And our internet Wi-Fi lack of will be remediated. If not sooner, definitely sooner, not later. Okay, welcome, Jewel.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Laura, I don't have the agenda in front of me.
I know,
so
I'll put it back up. At this time, what I'm gonna do is take it down as soon as you look at the next item, because
okay.
when I have it up, I can't see anything else in the meeting.
No,
So-
I understand fully. So we were gonna talk about the pocket park at the library. Maybe Laura has something. I was hoping someone who was involved in that program
Right.
would be able to address that issue. Laura, you have information you
I
want
do
to
not.
bring up?
No, actually, I don't. I was hoping Denise or someone would be here as well. The last thing I heard was the astonishingly high price of the bid. Essentially, the bid for doing the fence the way it was originally designed exceeds $100,000, not by much, but exceeds $100,000, and which makes one question why they accepted the design in the first place. However, the last I heard was from Council District 10 said they're going to find the money somehow, and I haven't heard anything since. But I was hoping the person who's really tracking this, who's a neighbor and former UNNC board member, would be here tonight, but not.
For those of you who don't know anything about it, basically we're talking about the park next to the Washington Irving Library that was started probably about a year ago, Laura, right? And
it was presented in sort of in the time period between October and December at more than one meeting of 2020.
okay.
And was to commence construction soon after that, but obviously it's taken a lot more time than that.
There's been an okay for the design, and they got to some point and decided they were going to change it without the okay of the people who sat in on the committee to okay the design and work with them on it. So the fencing was changed. Apparently they're saying it was too expensive at that point,
Right.
and they just decided to change it without any outreach to find out if something else could be done. And the people are very unhappy with it, who were working with them. So Laura just gave you the update. Hopefully we will get back to what was planned.
Right.
Jackie, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. A couple of times I've driven by the library and I see a homeless tent you know, like right in the front door of the library? Has that been taken care of? Or is there still somebody that randomly, you know, sleeps there or parks there? Does
You know,
anyone?
I don't know. I do know those steps of the library have been a mess, ongoing. And I went through, during the day the library is open, I'm sure they don't have that there. So I'm not sure. Laura, you know anything? Anybody else?
I just know that there's a lot of homeless people everywhere, and that includes the library steps.
I guess
Unfortunately.
during the day they're cleared,
No,
because when you drive through during the day, I
no.
went past and there wasn't anything out there when I went by
Well, you know,
yesterday.
I see them during the day, but I don't know what one can really do because they're homeless.
Yeah, I see them during the day too. That's what I was wondering. What could be done?
Well, if I was a librarian, they wouldn't be on the steps. Let's just put it that way. So maybe you guys want to hire me for a day or so. Because people need to come through and kids need to use the library. So I don't think you want that there. And it is private property, so they don't camp on the library in Hancock Park, so we're not going to do it there. Let's work that out. So Laura, I need to move on to the next. We've
Right.
gotten through that. I was hoping Denise might have some updates, but maybe we'll get some from her later.
Right. So the next item is the updates from the department itself. If any, for any of our parks within our footprint, updates and highlights from the Recreation and Parks Department.
Okay, Elaine?
What was the update for any of the parks?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so in other
anything-
words, we have within our footprint, but I don't know what your, how your footprint overlaps ours. But
Right.
within and adjacent to our boundaries, so we kind of define the libraries on our watch as, not libraries, the parks on our watch as those which our stakeholders go to. So, so the, you know, obviously we already talked about South Seas House and Benny Potter Park, which has a much longer name, Leslie Shaw, but we also have a pocket park, a small one on Normandy at Cordova. We have this under construction pocket park by the Washington Irving Library at Bronson, well, 12th Avenue actually, in Washington. And then a lot of our stakeholders participate in programs at the Normandy Recreation Center, at Queen Anne, and also at Lauren Miller. So if, I don't know how that overlaps anything, you know, your territory,
have
and if there's any
Normandy and Queen
updates from any of them.
Yeah, well, I have Normandy and Queen Anne. As far as homeless issues we're talking about, or you just in general?
No, if you have programs coming up, updates regarding COVID, I mean, I don't know. That's what we're
Yeah.
hoping. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So well, all of our centers right now are, they just started a basketball league, all ages. Well, all 5 to 17. So they just started that last week and we made a mad dash to get it started. It was something we had planned to do early January, but then got held off. So all of the parks have started that. We will have spring camps coming up, which will be the spring break week, which is August 11th through 15th. So each of them will offer either a drop-in or an actual spring camp. We're hoping to have field trips included in that as long as protocols allow. And then we'll, you know, in the summer, we'll be full action as far as we have heard with the summer camp and with activities at night, including the Summer Night Lights program, including our own sport leagues and the whole shebang. So that's where we're headed. We hope we can carry it forward.
Is the Gladys Wesson part of our inventory?
No, not
Oh,
us. No.
okay.
Does anybody else have a question about what might be possible for activities at their parks?
Teresa
Because we
has her
cover
hand
so
up.
many.
No, but
Teresa?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to ask Elaine a question. I understand there's some construction happening at Lauren Miller, and I was just wondering if you could give us an update on that?
Actually, Laura Miller is in the different region.
Oh,
It's in
okay.
the Pacific region, so I wouldn't have any information now. I can find out and get back
No,
with you, but I don't, yeah.
I saw it on a document and I was like, oh, since we were talking about parks adjacent to us, I thought maybe you would know, but that's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and actually somebody mentioned classes. We do have classes as well. We have fitness classes, martial arts classes. So each center is a little bit different, but we are trying to get them all up and running in at least April, and have a full program in the summer. Different parks have different things. We're actually looking for a tennis instructor for Queen Anne because they're losing one of them. So if anybody knows anybody that's interested in that, because they have a full roster of kids ready to play.
By the way, do you guys use social media to advertise your classes? I know you guys use flyers, but social media is extremely effective.
Yes.
And
yes.
we're wondering at each center, is there someone who does that? Because we wanted to get Potter back to where it was, or
Right.
South Seas back to where it was before this all started. And there was a real good participation level at South Seas, and we'd like to see some other opportunities even at Leslie Shaw. So we're wondering how we can get us, moving in social media.
Sure. Well, South Sea, she did start her own basketball league. Well, she's participating with other centers, but she does have that role, and we have talked about getting art classes in there for her. She's working on solidifying some instructors. As far as how we handle social media, so the city has its own account, and then each center filters things through the city account. But often what happens is somebody on staff that's kind of savvy like that will create an Instagram and post it that way. They send out email blasts, and that kind of goes out in the same manner. We also put on the CD offices web pages usually. It's a little bit tricky with social media sometimes. So that's why somebody from the community often, or a part-time staff usually kind of picks that up and helps us kind of reach a little more, what do you want to say?
Traffic.
Yeah, a little more focus on that area.
Yeah, I think West Adams Avenues is going to reach out and
Great.
try to get that started back for South Sea Center, because I know it's
fantastic. So all that would happen is Arian would just forward anything to whoever wants to manage that, and we're happy to put it on wherever we can.
yeah. Okay, I'll reach out to her and we'll
Great.
move forward on that, because we want to build back up. It's been, everything has been no go, but now everything's opening up. I mean, LAUSD is going another direction soon, so
Right.
it's important that we get our things going, and we will help.
Great.
And you don't cover Leslie Shaw, do you?
No.
So we'd like to maybe find out who
Mhm.
does.
Yeah,
And
I've actually never
because-
even heard of that park, so I'm going to find out myself.
Wow.
can you? Because that way we can get some help from them to reach out and see if we could get classes going for the local community there,
Is it
even
just
though,
a pocket park, or is it?
Yeah, it's a pocket park.
Okay. So no
Yeah.
building. Okay.
and it borders
Classes.
on a library, and that library has indoor space. So there would be possibilities for some MOU between the library and the park.
Okay. We'll check into that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, we have Laura, and then Sandra has a question.
Yeah, because it suddenly occurred to me, as we are opening up, when will the facilities, so that might be South Seas House, again, Lauren Miller, I know they're doing construction, but the places that have meeting rooms, when will the meeting rooms be reopened for community meetings, if you know?
Well, we don't really know because we just have changed the mask mandate for outdoor and we're kind of waiting on this next move for indoor. I would say it's going to be very soon though. Going to be very soon. So if you think you're going to want something in a month or so, I would go ahead and try to pull that permit.
Yeah, so basically, part of the agreement years ago with South Seas House and its opening is that it is to be open for community meetings. I mean, I can go back with you on all the old stuff, but
Sure.
but several UNNC committees, at least two, this one, and the Planning and Zoning Committee would routinely meet there, and maybe executive, some, in some years, the executive committee would meet there too. And the local HPOZ would meet there twice a month. And all of these are kind of part and parcel of the original approvals of the funding that rehabbed the building itself so many years ago. So, there was a whole schedule, and I can talk to you offline about it because we should find out when this
Jewel, not right
opens
now,
again,
please.
how it opens again. But we don't need to go into it tonight.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Sandra, your turn.
Okay, so this is not probably for the Parks and Rec as much as it is for our community. So since Leslie Shaw Park doesn't have a rec center, most of the activities that have happened have been in collaboration with the Friends of the Jefferson Branch Library. So if we're moving forward and doing stuff in this community, let's just make sure we're collaborating with them because they have a lot of youth programs there and they were very successful at the Jefferson Branch Library.
Sandra, are they doing programs now?
No, because the library just opened back up. Our library was closed because the carpet had to be removed. The floors were taken care of and it's part of the city. And since the city wasn't opened up, there weren't anything happening there. But in the past, pre-COVID, they did movies in there quite often. They had circle time in there. They had tutoring going on in collaboration with another after-school program. So there's a lot of activity happening there. I just want us to remember to collaborate.
The librarian took over the librarian and their staff took over those programs. There were no RAP personnel.
No.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Because I was wondering if possibly there could be an opportunity to have Recreation and Park staff come there to do things.
To do, well, like I said, we have a nice roster of things that already happened there. And we also have another library across the street. It's called I cannot remember the name, but they work in collaboration with Jefferson Branch Library. And like I said, the after school program. So they have a full schedule of things that are already very successful there.
Yeah, well, that's good. Then if they already have programs that are offered at the park or for the park kids, that's good. Okay, any other questions or comments on this topic? Okay, next topic, Laura. Okay, so we've talked about, that's number 5. We got the updates. Number 6. So now we're discussion regarding increasing participation in the Parks Committee and trying to attract more people to this, especially people with kids or who want to be a part of getting more things happening. Wanted to mention, and a lot of people know already, there is quite a bit of money available to make improvements, to help with programming, quite a bit of money available through the state and through the city. And we haven't asked for much, so we haven't gotten much. We definitely are going after more support of South Seas Center and Potter Park. And I know they're going after more money for the library park. And for Leslie Shaw, Sandra, do you have a hand up?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
It also says discussion about the chairman, the committee chair. So are you the committee chair now for the parks?
No,
committee?
we don't have a committee chair at this point, I don't think, Laura. I'm here.
Yeah, no,
Um,
Donna agreed to chair this meeting. Our,
So we-
unfortunately, our somewhat newly appointed chair had both medical and family issues. So we had to step down, though he hopes to come back, maybe not as chair.
So we need to be discussing that as well before, we
Yeah,
can
it's on
have
the
a set
agenda.
plan.
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
I mean, right now,
Yeah,
'cause we're talking about getting more money and stuff like that, but who's gonna chair this up?
Oh, the money? No.
No, who's gonna be a
No,
chair?
I was simply discussing the fact that we do need to be outreaching for the funding that is available for all the parks.
Mhm.
So we're talking about that. We don't have a chair at South Sea Center meeting. We're just doing things as a community to try to increase funding for anything that happens, including the park activities, programs, everything. We want to get our fair share of it. But we don't run where a person's chairing that particular. Neighborhood council has a committee. They need a chair and they needed someone this time. So I stepped in. But
Okay.
I chair West Adams Avenue, you know that.
Yes, I do.
So Teresa,
Thank you, Donna. I think the agenda item number 7, that we were going to have a discussion regarding appointing a chair or getting options or volunteers who may be interested in being the chair of Recs and Parks. And I think that's what Sandra is talking about. And that is on item number 7. So we can begin that discussion. Sandra, do you have something you want to say about that? Oh, okay. Because I know that in the past you were interested. If you were still interested, or if you know someone who is, we'd like to, Donna doesn't want to do it. I don't want to do it, or I can't do it. Both of us have a lot on our plate already, but we are looking for volunteers who maybe want to take on that challenge to chair the Recs and Parks committee.
yeah.
So did you want to talk about that? I mean, is that where you were going? No, okay.
and to be totally honest, our South Sea Center, Benny Potter Park, we don't have a chair, but we have a community group called the Quality of Life Committee. And some of them are on this call. We support South Sea Center, Benny Potter Park fully, and it will be taken care of. I just wanted to make sure that other parks in our area through UNNC were covered as well. There's money now, we're going after some of it. And we're going to make sure it is fully supported. Even if it doesn't come from Recreation and Parks, there will be money. RN doesn't have to worry about being supported. She knows that. She has a backup crew and it's called West Adams Avenue. We'd like the same thing for all the parks within neighborhood council coverage. And that's basically what I wanted to say on that. Any other, oh, Laura.
Yeah, well, I kind of view this agenda item as actually more directly what it says it is, which is if we can have a discussion about some ideas regarding how to increase participation in the neighborhood council recreation and parks committee, which this meeting is. And one of the things that's hampering us right now in increasing participation is just the struggle, the struggle to have a chair at all. So while I'm the Zoom host and the president of the neighborhood council, and I can convene these meetings just like Teresa and Donna, I can't become its chair due to just my busy schedule. So, we're needing, so it's two different things. I can continue on a monthly basis having, convening a meeting, and I can continue for each of those meetings to see if someone in advance would chair and get some ideas for an agenda. That's what we did this time. But we still need more participation. And in the end, we need a person who's passionate and devoted to the idea of being a chairperson of a neighborhood council committee that looks over all the parks in the area. And then maybe, there's subcommittees and stuff. So, so if anybody has thoughts on how to increase the participation within this committee, I don't know if finding a guest speaker on wonderful parks elsewhere would be of interest. I doubt it. I'm just making stuff up as I go along. If parents groups want to, I don't even know how to do it. So that's why this item is on the agenda, but we clearly need more participation.
Okay, Tori, hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, UNNC needs to invest in some flyers, or the city or Park and Recs, whoever, and it needs to be presented to the communities as a collaboration. That's how a lot of organizations are getting funding now. It's not about a solo park here, a solo park there. It has to be a collaboration of bring all the parks together. And I think you would get some more parents involved. And I talked to a couple today, they didn't even know, about attending. Well, nobody's attending anything now, but the Zoom attendance of the council, nor do they know about the Park and Recs, where they can go for that. So I think we need to be a little more proactive in our outreach endeavors.
That's a good idea. Sandra, your turn.
Outreach is definitely a good thing that we need to have. Also, we have a lot of new people that are moving into community and they don't know, like Tori was just saying about neighborhood council and the goings on. And I don't know if trying to get all the parks involved is going to be the solution, because you can see at this meeting and UNN's meetings, a lot of people are not participating, even before we did the Zoom thing. I think more people in our communities get to knowing the people in their communities. I know it has worked effectively in Jefferson Park. When we do things, it's not that we don't want to reach out to everyone, but if you live in a certain community, these are the people we're going to see all the time. I see them at the store, I see them at the library, I see them in the parks. So we see each other a lot more. So we're more likely to build a relationship that calls more participation. I started having the Jefferson Park safety meetings last month, and I had like 15 people there that came on the Zoom because we've been building a relationship. They know who I am. So if things that personally impact our area, most of the people that live here for the most part go to Leslie Shaw Park. They don't go to Benny Potter Park, even though there's more shade there. And when it's hot outside, I have even suggested that the parents take their kids there, but they like the local stuff. So maybe we should focus more on our local groups and big recreation and parks, because then there'll be another thing when new people come in with a lot of new ideas that sometimes have already tried to be worked out. Like they want to talk about locking the alleys, for instance. That's not going to happen. That was an old idea, but new people come with a lot of new ideas that cause them to spin their wheels, and we don't get stuff done. And then the new people become burned out because it feels like they're working against folks that have been trying for a very long time to get stuff done. I know in Jefferson Park, we are growing footprint of young people who are family oriented. They like the park, they like Leslie Shaw Park, and they like just doing things, once again, locally.
Well, no, Sandra, I made a point of clarification, man. What I'm saying is people do go to the different parks. Everybody doesn't know everybody, and everybody doesn't know their habits. What I am saying is it is not an option. I'm saying that all of these, you can have one page that has all the parks listed on one page and the footprints. And that way it shows that if they have an option, some people may not go to a park because they don't know which corner to turn to get to it, but if you put something like what you just said about Benny Potter has more shade, well, then in the description of Benny Potter, it could be nice shade, trees, or this, a description to describe what is beautiful about the park, or what is fun about the park. But I think we got to stop living in these silos of isolation, and things need to be available to the people to make that choice.
So here's the thing. I go to the park a lot. I had a daycare. I'm in the parks. I'm talking to the people a lot. So what I'm saying is
We
not
know
based
you
on
do.
theory.
We know you do, but we talk about
But
new
what you're
people.
saying is it's not based on theory. It's a fact. People like to locally do stuff. So as good an idea as that sounds, you know, people, I just told you, I told people about other parks and they're not interested. So in theory, that sounds like it's a good idea. And they can go ahead and welcome to try it. But people want to get to know their neighborhood and their community, and we're stronger that way. And it's not a
Yeah.
silo.
I just have a
Thank
quick
you.
question. What happened to that coffee in the park idea? Are we still gonna do that, or what's happening with that?
We have, well, things are opening up a little bit more and we're gonna be moving toward that, but I'm gonna let Teresa answer that.
Thank you. Yes, we're still having the coffee with the cop. We're trying to work out the schedule with the new captain and Sergeant Norwood. So it may now be pushed until April, but the problem was we were going to do it on a weekday and then everybody said, no, they need to do it on a weekend. So then now that changed the schedule. So we're trying to do it for a weekday, a weekend morning from 10 to 12, but the date is still uncertain yet.
Would that
Is that going to be at a park?
Wait a minute, wait your turn.
Oh,
Okay, Laura.
No, I was just asking Teresa, coffee with a cop out at the parks?
No, it was going to be at Benny Potter Park. You know, a month or
In
so
the
ago, they
annex.
did coffee with the cop. What did I say Benny Potter? What'd you say, Donna?
At the annex part.
Oh,
yeah.
at the annex, yes. They did coffee with the cop at Crenshaw and Resurrection Church. There's a little
Right.
cafe there. So that's when I reached out to them and said, hey, what about our community? So, and not just the avenues, but also Jefferson Park. So the thought was to have it during, you know, a weekday, the same time, but then many people said, no, it's better to do it on a weekend. We'll get a larger turnout. So then now we're just waiting for the date. We have to, you know, she's got a coordinated date with the captain because we also want the slows there. We want to have the law as great a police presence as we can because we're having a little gang issue over there, but also so that the community can meet all the different police officers that are driving around and, you know, out and about in our neighborhood.
So are they going to
that
have,
concept rotate from park to park. It's a good concept. Will
yeah.
it rotate to park in the community?
We're just doing our, for South Sea Center, we're not doing it for all the parks. If someone else wants to, they have done it at about 2 or 3 other locations.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah, and
Ariane?
Hey everybody, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Okay. Just give me a heads up whenever you guys narrow down a date. I want to make sure I don't schedule anybody who wants to rent the area.
I know you're in that, not in the loop, but you're in the back of my mind about that. I just,
Okay.
you know, at first it was going to be March the 22nd or some late date in March, but then now that's not even possible. So we're not there with you yet. So,
Okay. Okay.
but you know, it'll be sometime in April. But I did have a question about something else regarding 2 things. Previously, Laura had a document that had all the parks on it, or the neighboring parks, and that was going to be updated on our website so people could go there and they could see all the parks. And I'm not sure where we are with that, but I know that's part of the plan to have our website updated and have the parks, a map with the circle of each park and some information on each park to answer Tori's question. And then Sandra, my question to you is, you seem very connected with the people at Jefferson and Jefferson Park and Leslie Shaw Park in particular. Why are those people not here today?
Because they don't like to spend, quite frankly, a lot of time at meetings. They just want to talk about what's locally affecting them. Basically, what's locally affecting them. Like when we had the Jefferson Park safety meeting, people suggest that they go to the CPAC meeting, right? And they don't want to sit through all of that. They don't have like a lot of time. These are young people with young families and they're quite busy, like the chairperson that was over this meeting. So I'm more of a person that can go to these meetings and get information and take it back to them. They don't want to sit at this meeting, UNNC meeting and stuff like that. So I should do my part to share as much information with them as I can.
Next question, Ariane, do you have another question or comment? Okay, is it Laura?
Yeah, no, I was following back to coffee with a cop. Teresa and Donna, I guess, are we thinking, we meaning you, thinking about having one of the coffee cart vendors come?
Yes.
We're gonna,
Yes.
yes, we're gonna have that. We're gonna have pastries too.
Cool. Well, we'll talk offline because, you know, there is the matter of the UNNC donation funds that contrary to what you guys were discussing, they can't come back to UNNC. They need to be spent. So maybe we'll talk later.
Sure, okay.
yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, any other questions or concerns about that particular comment?
Well, it's just, it's an interesting idea to have the coffee with the cup, but I wonder if it would help the parks and help UNNC as well to think of some other little focused, I'm going to use the word events, but over the next, you know, after we open up, over the next summer and early fall, before, well, we know we have good weather, to have a number of sort of, not impromptu, because anytime it involves the neighborhood council, it's never impromptu, but little events like that at our various, you know, the couple of parks, and just see if we can just meet our neighbor, you know, not just meet the cops, but meet your neighborhood council, meet your area rep. So, you know, maybe that flip this idea to be a UNNC idea going forward, not undo the coffee with a cup, because that's a great thing.
Well, that's something the outreach committee for UNNC might want to discuss.
Right.
Because you guys used to do a lot of those giveaways and activities.
Well, we did try to have those quote breakfasts, which became afternoon snack events, but that was a bigger Megillah once the city clerk's funding team got involved. So something other neighborhood councils do have coffee, meet your reps events. So I will look into that. They may or may not do them at parks, but I don't know why we couldn't do them at our parks.
Yeah, people are trying to stay outside with things.
Right.
Sandra, you have another comment or a question?
Well, there's also that other exciting event that happens in August. I know it's a little ways off, but it's the National Night Out. And the purpose of that is to bring the police and the community together.
Right.
So I know Jefferson Park is definitely looking forward to doing that again.
Are you doing a movie, trying to do another movies in the park?
Yes. As we have, the Southwest has we changed captains and sergeants so much that the captain we had just last year is gone. So nailing them down and having a relationship and good communication with them is difficult, because we set things up, and then, you know, Jefferson Park had set up to have at the safety meetings to start having senior lead officers come to those as well, but things keep changing for us. So hopefully by August, we'll have a nice team of people that can come out to meet and greet the community.
Right. So, but I'm glad. So, but you are, I mean, I'm literally asking you, Sandra, are planning to jumpstart another movie in the park. So, you know, again, we should agendize that. I'm not talking about money at this moment, but if you recall last year at the last minute, we also had to sign a bunch of paperwork, and you need, yes, with UNNC. So I think let's not wait till the last minute.
Well, you know what happens is things were changing so much. I didn't want to jump out too soon.
I
didn't
know.
if it was going to be indoors or outdoors
I
or
know.
the funding. So it's a good time now. You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing jazz this year because permits weren't available for us.
Oh, you're still not
And-
doing jazz this year again?
No, well,
My
permits were not.
favorite thing.
Yeah, favorite thing. It'll happen next year because permits were definitely not available. And I know Arian is looking like the idea of having anything in the park will require quite a bit of permit. And whether they're giving them yet, we're still waiting on that aspect of it.
Well, they
to
did.
actually
Yeah,
have
the
large-
Parks Department gave
large
Sandra a
gatherings.
permit.
Huh?
Last year for the movies in the park, the Parks Department, whoever it was, did cough up a permit. But the how it's being done, who would sign it, blah, 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 was so late that it was a big scramble. So that's
Yeah.
all my, you know, there was no money involved. It was just the scramble. to
Yeah,
get it.
same. There's too many permits for what I do, and so
Yeah.
we couldn't get them. So this coffee with the cop will be our first venture into
Got it.
getting a large group of
Got
people
it.
out.
Got it.
So, any other comments?
Well, only again to say that UNNC is also here to help with the stakeholders. I mean, it's not just that we want more people involved because we want them to help us. It's really the other way around, that we want to kind of create a situation where we've got people who are strongly supporting and advocating for their parks. And if they can do it through our mantle, because we're a city entity, if that helps, it helps with permits, I'll tell you that. That would be better. So any ideas? I mean, we should just keep this conversation going about how to get more people to participate. It's not because we're saying, oh my God, we need more people because that builds our ego. It's because it means there's more ability to advocate with one strong voice. So,
And secondly, right now, as I said, there's a lot of money available to make improvements, to fund activities, all kinds of things, and we need to take advantage. Pan Pacific and many of the others are much bigger parks, but they are certainly getting their fair share of whatever pie is being served. So we need to do the same. And I know we're working on it for ours, and we want to do it for all the neighborhood spaces here in UNNC. Jewel? Comment or question?
Yes, I just wanted to add because I'm a community relations coordinator for elementary school, but it's really another word for parent liaison. So maybe just a suggestion, if you want to get more parents involved, is pretty much every school has a parent center and a parent liaison, and maybe approach them and be able to present what you're looking for, and you'll find a lot of parents might be interested in jumping on on a committee, and especially when it comes to parks, because they're going to be bringing their kids there. So just a suggestion.
Thank you. That's good, because we need to have that opportunity for the local, all the local schools close to the parks to be notified when things are going on. So dropping things at the parent center or with the parent liaison would give us a chance to get it out, as well as on Nextdoor, because there's a lot of chitter chatter on Nextdoor about activities. We had a beautiful Halloween parade.
oh, yeah.
Not everyone knew about it. Ariane may have known about it. On Halloween, one of our parents did a parade starting at 7th Avenue, and they marched down to the park. And it was a big group that came from all over.
It was
We
great.
had her posted on Nextdoor, and it was a lovely idea. She's a musician. She had friends who also played instruments, and they led the kids down to the park from 7th Avenue and 25th all the way down to the park. Ariane, you knew about that, right? The Halloween parade?
I didn't know.
It was
Yeah.
wonderful.
It was one, you missed it.
You did.
One of the parents reached out to me through actually Waha. She reached out to Rena. Rena put it in my ear, and we came together on how she could do it, even during COVID. And we had a small, we didn't have a normal Halloween, although we had like almost 300 kids come through. But a lot of parents came. All of a sudden they were gathering on the corner at my house on the corner. People were sitting all over the lawn, and a lot of people didn't know why. And she came, they played instruments and marched down the middle of the street on 25th. Her baby's like 3 years old, and she had many friends. And through Nextdoor, she got a huge group of kids and families to come, and they marched down to the park. Laura saw them.
Oh, well, first of all, you couldn't help but see them because they marched it was a lot of music. Well, I don't know if it was a lot, but it was a loud group of musicians playing good songs, but loud, and they went very slowly. So, it was coming down 25th, but you heard them coming, and then everyone on 4th Avenue and 25th from both sides came out, and I mean, several dozen people watching. And Donna, I felt like there were 200 people in this parade. I don't know.
Yes, there was a lot.
There was a lot,
Didn't
and they
you?
were not just from the avenues. And it was so cute, and it was
They came from
heartwarming.
all the way west along Adams, through
Well,
next door. They thought it
Well,
was
I
a
saw people
wonderful.
from Jefferson Park. I saw
Yes.
people from Arlington Heights. I mean, because I'm a little social butterfly apparently, because I knew lots and lots of these people who were from all over. But it was really a great thing, and it alerted all of us who were giving away candy that we better hurry up and be done, because they were going to be coming back from the park. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be earlier than usual because it was still light out. So we had to get the candy ready to go really
I
fast.
think you had to go get more candy, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but that was a little later. Yes, I did a mad dash because we ran out of candy. We put candy in our tenants' houses too, so that there's so if there's 300 for us, it's 1,200 essentially, because we've got candy everywhere. Yeah, we ran out, and I did the mad dash, and then had to stop myself. Wait, there might be a kid across crossing the street. I better drive slowly and carefully because I was doing a mad dash. But yeah, to get more candy. But yeah, there were. It was a great thing to do, and I hope she does it again. And
she's
it was
got to
great.
do it again. She has to. It was such a nice, and she didn't take a lot of time to plan it. It was just her and her friends who are musicians, and she had a 3-year-old, and there were a bunch of other people with small kids, people with strollers.
Right.
And they just had
It was
people
great.
with dogs. The dogs joined the parade. So it was really nice. It was special. And that was the afternoon of Halloween. And by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, they were coming back and getting in their cars or walking around, because mostly they were smaller kids.
Right.
And it was the parents with the little kids. And the thing with how Next Door does a candy route in the neighborhood, you can put your house on it. That really works, because a lot of people came because they saw my house on the candy route. So there's a lot of ways that social media can be used. Well, I think we are close to our time. And we have, anybody else have a question, comment, concern? Ariane, your hand's up.
I just want to let you know we've been cleared to do an egg hunt this year.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So
We're
that's-
backing you up. Let me
yeah.
know what we'll get together. Let me know soon what
Okay.
you're gonna do, and we'll back you up.
Okay. Okay.
So, are you going to do it on Easter weekend or before that?
I'm looking before, so I'm looking at probably doing it, let's see, April, I'm looking at a calendar, probably the 9th, April 9th. Just to, so we're not, in competition, or, because a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, are gonna be doing their egg hunt on this, on that Easter weekend.
Okay.
So
So
probably the
your
9th.
spring break daycare, it starts when?
Our spring camp is 11 through the 15th.
Okay. And you're gonna
So-
do that Easter egg hunt on the 9th. Okay.
Yeah, it's either gonna be the 9th or the 16th, but I'm looking at the 9th, and I will confirm I'll narrow down one of those 2 dates and then get you guys a flyer, and then I'll talk to you about.
You're gonna do beyond just your daycare kids. You're gonna
Yes,
put it
that's what I
out.
mean. It's gonna be open to the public.
Okay, good. So you'll use Next Door and some of the other
Right.
sites to advertise. Teresa,
Right.
question?
Yes, it's really, I think, for Elaine more so than Arian. Elaine, if we wanted to do an Easter egg hunt at Leslie Shaw Park, how would we go about doing that? Would you have to do it using the the MOU that we have with the library?
Well, like I said, this is the first time I've heard of Leslie Shaw Park, so I'm not sure who it belongs to or if who's managing it. So I'd have to find that out first. If it's one of ours, you know, and it's something you do in coordination with us, we could have kind of a partnership and run something with our staff. So there's different options, but let me just find out who it belongs to first.
Okay, because Sandra just mentioned there are a lot of young families there. So we could do outreach to have Jefferson Park families come to Benny Potter Park. And this would also allow them to see how, you know, the great park and things like that. Or we could try to do something at a local park there. So
Absolutely.
if we could look into that, that would be great. Sandra, do you think the people in your community would be interested in that?
Yes.
Okay, Laura, question? Comment?
Yeah, I'm just wondering from Arian who's walking away, for egg hunt, are these hidden eggs or is it actually, we call the event an egg hunt, but does every kid get a basket of Easter eggs? I mean, does every kid get a basket and it's not really hunting? How does that work?
No, we're gonna be hunting. They're gonna.
Well, because I remember years ago when we were I helped with an egg hunt at the South Seas house and we packed little plastic eggs with jelly beans and then we hid them. But by the time the kids got them, they were all filled with ants. So that's what, so the next year they didn't do a hunt. So that's why I'm asking.
I haven't, in the egg hunts I've done before, I haven't had that happen.
Mhm.
But so if there's something I should do that I should know about, maybe I can talk to you to see what they did so I don't do that.
I don't know, but maybe what they did I'm trying to remember, following years was like, you may hunt for an egg, but it didn't have the candy in it. You exchanged your found egg for candy or something like that.
Well,
I
And they
don't know.
possibly.
But that doesn't seem fun, does it?
right.
Not at all.
Fun at all.
Those were
No,
probably
not at
jelly,
all.
jelly beans that were just on their own. We're gonna have
Yes.
everything prepackaged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good idea, Elaine.
They were definitely jelly beans on their own. I know this because I helped put them in the eggs. I'm
Sure,
just
that's-
saying.
Well, in the age of COVID, you will
Got
have
it.
jelly beans.
You're right.
They found in it
Got
and have,
Got it.
yeah.
Teresa,
Thank you, Donna. So the funding for this, I guess this is Arian and Elaine. You guys would provide that. I'm just trying to make sure that if we do decide to do it in Leslie Shaw Park, that they get that too, or does UNNC need to set aside some funds so we can get plastic eggs and bags of candy to put in the eggs?
You know, both ways can happen. There are centers that have money usually sponsor their own, but we have a lot of parks that get that sponsor on the outside and they just go get those items individually and take them to the park and then the park staff stuffs them and gets them ready. So, I mean, it can happen either way.
Okay. When do you think you can let us know the staff or the coordinator, director of Leslie Shaw Park?
Well, if it's a pocket park, that means it's connected to one of our other centers and they're only overseeing it as well as the other center. So if it's one of ours, I'll just have to find out what park it's connected to or what center it's connected to.
Okay, I believe you have my email or I can put it in the chat, but if you could let me know and then we can loop in Sandra Pruitt so she can be a part of this to coordinate that for
Sure.
Leslie Shaw.
Got it on my
Park.
notes for sure.
Sandra, the library does these things too?
We haven't, but they, most anything that I suggest we participate in, I was gonna say that they'll participate in.
Right.
Yeah,
And
they
they
support
do-
their community a
They
lot.
definitely have an active Friends of the Library group, right?
Mhm. You're right.
Because that may be the better thing to funnel through than UNNC Direct.
There is a Friends of Benny Potter Park, South Sea Center already. And
Yeah, but
some of them-
I'm asking about Leslie
Leslie
Shaw.
Shaw, because we don't
yeah,
have.
that's what I
a-
was saying. I know she mentioned the library Friends.
Okay.
So when you said funnel through, Lauren, what do you mean?
Well,
We have to do
I mean,
funding?
yeah, we're getting all very excited about something that might happen. I mean, you know, I'm going to say the word event. Something
Yes.
that might happen less than 60 days from our next board meeting, because it won't be on this board agenda. So it
Oh.
might be easier for us to
But
quietly help.
we
the
can have it come
friends.
through executive. We can work it out.
Yeah,
First,
we
let's
can work
let
it out.
Elaine figure out what's gonna happen, because maybe that can all be funded directly through recreation. We just need to let that
Right.
play out. Let's give her some
Right.
time to get back to us. And if necessary, we can go through executive and try to make sure that we allocate the
Right.
funds.
Okay, thank you, RN. So you'll let us know, bring us up soon as you get some dates and how things can go. And it can definitely be open to all parents at both parks. So people could go to any place they wish to.
Right.
And thank you, everybody who's come out. Thank you, Jewel, for your comments and information. And thank you for Tori, everyone who's come out tonight, and appreciate your participation. Now we have some things to look forward to in the spring. So we'll work toward those. Thank you a lot.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Have a good
Good night,
one.
Good
everyone.
night. Thank you for coming, everyone.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gonna end the meeting now.
Yeah, I was gonna say adjourn the meeting.